You're in the right place at the right time. And what a great looking crowd. Got about 400 and some odd here of the best people in the world, don't you think? Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you're looking for the best chiropractors, they're right here in this room, and we are glad you're here. It's going to be some awesome fun today. I want to make sure that you get it straight who you are and that you choose the real you. So by the way, I guess I should ask you, who are you anyway?
Amazing.
Oh, boy. Okay, students, here's what you call a major cheat sheet. Who are you? That is right. Now, I know some of you, obviously, you're thinking, oh, Brother John, you just say that stuff. We say that. I don't think you should. You say lots of other gunk. You say lots of other stupid stuff. You say lots of bad stuff. Particularly when you don't think it's good, you make sure you say it, and you say it out loud. It doesn't mind. Maybe you need to hear yourself say something about you that is absolutely correct, and that is that you are amazing if you choose to be. You are inspiring if you choose to be, and you are unstoppable if you choose to be. You can go wherever you want from where you are right here and right now. And I want to talk to you about making some important choices for your future, for your destination, for your life, for your career, for where you want to go, where you want to be. Some important choices that you got to make, and the choices that may seem rather insignificant to you, but they are incredibly essential to your success. And when I talk to you about this, I want you to understand and I want you to realize that I don't come to you just out of regurgitating some sort of tape that I may have heard or some sort of book that I have read and that type of thing. This isn't from a book and this isn't from a tape. This is from a life, and from a life that I want you to live. I want you to live the dream. How many people in here can? Every single one of you. That is right. You got to make the right choices to do it, but I want you to know it's not some sort of vacuum here. This isn't some sort of conglomeration of tapes that one may have listened to. It is in my own life. I understand what it is like, everybody, to have your back against the wall. I understand what it is like. I know what the bottom smells like, tastes like, feels like. I know the smoke from it, and I know that there's only one good thing that comes from the bottom. Anybody know what? There's only one good thing about the bottom. If you've ever been on the bottom, what's the good thing about the bottom? It's the bottom. Yeah, it's the bottom. I can tell you this, there's a lot of times when I thought I was there, just kept sliding. Nope. No, good, the bottom. Nope. Finally, when you land, you got one decision. Which way do you go? And I'm going to tell you this. Even as a matter of fact, and this wouldn't have been the bottom, but this was certainly one of those times when your back is against the wall. It's already been about 8 years ago now where I bought this company in its entirety, and it took a lot of money to buy it. And you know what? It meant that we had to kind of try to put everything together. Do you ever know? How many of you know what it's like to take a risk? What about when it's a risk that just risks not only your life, but everybody else's life as well? It's a scary thing, isn't it? And when I was looking to buy this thing, it was something where I'm trying to tell everybody that we can do this. And my wife's saying, for instance, and Ron and I, we've been married for 34 years, and I'm trying to tell her, boy, this is the right thing to do. This is what we need to do. And she's saying, why do we want to do this? Because I'm trying to talk everybody into this thing. And how many of you ever had trouble talking a banker into something? Anybody know? You ever have trouble trying to get money? And I don't know. I even put both our boys up for collateral. It was an interesting thing, and I still have one of them now after this is all said and done. And when it gets close and tight, my wife's saying, why, Keith? Why are we doing this? We don't have to do this. We're happy. We're fine. We have everything that we want. We're enjoying life. Why do we have to put our back against the wall? Why does it go like that? You know what? There is a reason why you got to do it. And that is you have a specific purpose. And you have a dream. And you go for the purpose and you go for the dream. And it's worth the risk because of the dream. Now see, what you got to understand is that when that back against the wall, and what I did was, I said, well, I don't know if I can do it or not. And so what I did was, I sat down and I wrote out a 5-year plan. And I wrote out this 5-year plan saying, you know what, let's see, this is where I want to be. This is where I would be starting at. And how do I get there from here? And I outlined those 5 years. And I outlined a strategy then of how I could do it. And I showed Rhonda. And she said, well, it's neat. and you're cute and pudgy and all, but did she believe it? Shoot, no. Because it was just way out there. It was way up there. It was way beyond what we would dream or imagine. And so then I would try to show the bankers. The bankers didn't believe it. And I'd show the friends, and the friends didn't believe it. How many of you have ever had something that you believed in so strongly that nobody else bought at all? You ever had that? It's kind of like, well, yeah, right. So when I talk to you today, I know how hard it is sometimes to make some choices. But you know, when I did this thing, I'll tell you what I want. I didn't want just to kind of sort of make it. I wanted it to be a dream. So, you know, since that time, we've more than tripled integrity management. Because you know something? If I was going to have a management company, I didn't want to have a management company. I wanted to have the management company. I wanted to be number one. I didn't want to be an also ran. I didn't want to kind of sort of be there. I didn't want to be just one of the guys. I wanted numero uno, top, first of all, at first place. Guess what? We're not only more than tripled, we're the number one management company in the world. Is that a good thing? Now, I also want you to be aware there's a reason that happened. The reason that happened is because our integrity doctors have become the number one doctors in the country, the biggest and the best. And because they became the biggest and the best, we became the biggest and the best. And that's what it takes. It takes stars that make the chiropractic profession a star. And wow, I'm telling you, not only do the integrity doctors just do amazingly well, but the fascinating thing is we were in Laguna Beach at Top Flight this summer. And while we were there, there was several of us sitting around the hot tub, and there was one of our doctors there. He's been a Top Flight doctor with us for a bunch of years, for 15 years of going to the top flights and stuff. And he was sitting there, and me and him were sitting there with a bunch of these young squirts. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? They're 27 and 28 and 29 and junk like that. And here they are. They're just doing unbelievable. And they come out of the chute, and they're quick start doctors. They were quick start doctors with us even, and just starting. And here they are, you know, in their second year, and then they got these $1 million practices and stuff like this. I mean, they're just blowing the doors off. And so I told Mark, I said, well, you know, Mark, you know, how does it make you feel? You know, here, you know, because we're sitting around with these. He said, you know, what do you think? See. Because when he first started coming to Top Flights, you know, wow, you know, if you were doing $30,000 a month, I mean, it was like, wow, you're tough stuff, man. You're awesome. And then these guys, I mean, you know, they were doing that in their third month. So I mean, they had just a whole totally different perspective. He said, it bothers me, Keith. I said, I don't mind telling you, it bothers me, you know, because you know what? It's easy to get passed up by people who've never known anything different than great success. Who have never known anything different besides amazing, inspiring, and unstoppable. Now, the deal is, I want you to know that this is all you. This is your choice. I lay out to you, you know, since that time, and I should finish the picture, you know, a little bit. I've showed you before, you know, my wife, for instance, she had a dream house, and we bought her dream house 5 years ago. It was a $2.4 million house. Now, here's the thing about the house, though, that you need to know, because this is what applies to you. The house is debt-free.
Yeah.
It is not the appearance. We are not the appearance of doing well. You know, in Texas, we say big hat, no cattle. That's what a lot of people are, aren't they? You would think they're doing good, but... And by the way, I should tell you, whether it's the cars that we have, or whether it's the house that we have, or whether it's even the company that we have. I did tell you, it did put our back against the wall, but let me tell you, there's no debt on the company either. You say, well, Keith, what are you bragging on that? No, I want you to know something. I want you to know that when I talk to you about these things, I'm not talking to you from a book or from a tape. I'm talking to you from, I understand back against the wall. I understand risk. I understand what it means to not know how it's going to happen and where it's going to come from. And I also know what it's like to win. And I know what it takes to win. And I know that you can do this. I know that this is something for you. And so I want you to make 4 important choices here this morning. Now, not only I'm going to give you the question, but I'm not going to just give you the question. I'm going to give you the answer too. You can cheat on this test. This is a good thing. This is an open book test. Didn't you always love that? We're having an open book test. I love those. Didn't you remember? This is an open book test. You can cheat. As a matter of fact, do we have anybody old enough in here to know Johnny Carson and the Great Karnak? Anybody remember Johnny Carson, the Great Karnak? He would give you the answer first and put the envelope and then rip it open and then give you the question. I'm going to give you the answer. All right? This is a good thing. But also understand this, you also have the option to make the wrong choice too. There are choices, you can choose the right one or you can choose the wrong one. I would recommend that you cheat in these series of questions that I'm going to ask you, and then you make a decision which it's going to be. So first of all, the first question is going to involve what might be a change to you. A change in the way you do stuff. Can you handle change? Now here's the deal. Dennis Waitley that we had speak for our spectacular a couple years ago. Do you remember Dennis Waitley? He tells a story about a South American tribes person. This South American tribes people, they were dying prematurely. And they couldn't figure out why this South American tribe was dying so young. They were dying at a young age, and before they would even reach their 50s. And so we sent a team of scientists to South America to try to find out why they were dying so young. Turns out that they found that there was a vitamin insect that was living in the adobe walls of their homes, so that, in other words, these insects were breeding there, and then they were getting into their bloodstream and getting into their families, so that they were dying young as a result of these insects. So the scientists then went to the tribe and they said, here's what you have. You got these 4 choices. They said, you can either A, we can tint the homes like we would with termites and stuff. We can tint the homes and spray an insecticide, and we can kill them through using major insecticides. But tinting these homes will kill them in the adobe walls, and then you'll be all right. A, insecticide. B, we can burn down the homes. If we burn down these homes, what we can do is just start over. You would just rebuild your houses again, but it would get rid of the insects. C, you could move away. Start over. Go somewhere else. Go to another land. Go to another place. But get away from these insects. Or D, you have to understand you can just stay the way you are. You don't have to do anything. You can just leave it the way it is and continue to die young. A, insecticide. B, burn down the home. C, move away. D, stay the way they are. Which one do you think they chose? They chose D, stay the way they are. But we would never do that, would we? No, we would never keep, year after year still doing the same stuff. We would never stay the way we are, would we? No. We're too educated. We're too sophisticated. We're too blind. We do that all the time, don't we? We are truly South American tribes people a lot of times. So when I give you this, realize that when you make the decision could mean change. Are you ready for the answer? Yes. The answer to the first question is choose drive. The question is, what gear do you practice in? What gear do you live in? What gear do you wake up in? There's several gears. I want you to choose drive. And it's an interesting thing. You know what we think about drive? And I want you to think about this. It's amazing how many people think, this person, they're motivated. They say, this person isn't motivated. This person is driven. This person isn't driven. And, well, they're just not motivated. So, you would think that we talk about drive as if it's an organ of the body that you were born with or that you weren't born with. And boy, there's Sam. There's Sam. He was born with no arms. There's Charlie, he was born with no legs, and then there's Keith, he was born with no drive. Oh, rats, just wasn't born with the drive. I understand our feelings, they're just not right. Let me just say something. Nobody is born with drive or without drive. The truth of the matter is, drive is something you choose. It's not something that you're born with. The people who are driven are the people who have chosen drive. Nobody wakes up driven. Just some people wake up and choose it. The truth of the matter is, every one of us when we wake up feel cruddy. Every one of us when we wake up say, see, the Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked to those who know it. Now, basically, in a much easier language, that is to say, we all wake up negative and cruddy and stupid. Some people just choose to rise above it. Some people choose to be driven. If you're in drive, you're not in drive because that's just the way you are. You're in drive because you've chosen to be that anyway. Now, when you realize the importance of your choice, this is what determines whether you live the dream or you don't live the dream. This is what determines whether you succeed or you don't succeed. Drive is something which you choose. So let's talk about some of the other gears. There's the gear of park. Boy, there's a bunch of people in park. You know what park's like, don't you? Hey, did you ever get on the freeway, you're driving on the freeway, and there's been an accident, and all of a sudden there's this big, huge conglomeration of cars, and they're all stopped, and you're stopped there on the freeway. There you are on the freeway, you should be going, and you can't. And you know when you're convinced that you can't go anywhere, because when you're on the freeway and the cars stop, you just stick your car in park. Well, we're not going anywhere for a while, and you put that sucker in park, because you know you're not going anywhere. You know why most people live in park? They don't think they're going anywhere. That's the reason. They think that they are where they are and there's no place to go and you can't do it. And they'll say, well, hey, the dream is possible. You can have the dream practice. You can live the dream, man. The dream practice is yours. No, not ours. No, we can't do it. Not in our community. No, not where we practice. No, I realize, Keith, there's some states that you can, but in our area, no, it just can't be done. Well, for one thing, in our area, I'll tell you, it's just hard to find staff. We just can't find staff. Well, it's just hard to find staff. It's hard to find good people. No, Brother John, what a whiner. Truth is, that's a bunch of baloney. The world is full of great people. And then they're everywhere. By the way, have you guys ever been, I'll give you an example. Just talk about that. I'll give you an example here. Have any of y'all ever been to Cold Stones before? Do we know any, you know Cold Stones, people? It's an ice cream place, and it's a place where they take the ice cream and they put it out on a marble slab, and then they pour all kinds of stuff in it, and they mix it, and they do the stuff, and then you guys know what I'm talking about? One of those deals. Well, man, Ron and I, we went to Cold Stones the other day, and when we walked in there was a line. It's a pretty popular place. And there was a line all the way out to the door, so that when I opened the door, the line was right there at the door. Now, I opened the door. There's the line right there stuck in front of me. And when I opened the door, there were two girls working the store. And when I say girls, I kind of mean it really literally, because, I mean, these two, I'm not real good at ages, but I'll tell you, I don't think they could have been any older than 20. I mean, they were like 20, and to me, that's young. So I'm saying, wow, there's those two girls now. There's just two girls, and there's this long line. And you know what those two girls did when I opened the door? I opened the door, they looked up, they stopped what they were doing, they looked up, they smiled, and they said, welcome to Cold Stones. Now, you all look at me like, sure they did. Oh, yeah. You know what most people would have done? There's another one. What are we going to do? There's two of us. There's 20 of them. There's another one. What are we going to do? And so I'm watching them. I think that they were excited to see me. So I'm standing there and I'm watching them. And I'm telling you, they do everything. They welcome us to Cold Stones. And then they take the orders. They took the orders. They take the people's orders. They're standing there. And they not only take the orders, but they do the food. They're taking the ice cream and they're mixing it and they're doing it and they're putting in all this stuff and they're taking notice and they're remembering this. And then the phone rings. Who answers it? They do. They answer the phone while they're mixing the ice cream, taking the orders, and welcoming people to Cold Stones. And it was a lady, I'm watching, it was a lady on the phone that wanted to order an ice cream cake. And so here she is, she's ordering this, and she says, well, what flavors are available? Well, what can you get? And how much does it cost? And even I'm standing there in line saying, tell her you're busy right now. You can't do this. Call back at another time. I mean, she never looked aggravated. She didn't try to get her off the phone. She just answered her questions and even tried doing other stuff while she was answering the questions. And by the way, while we're standing there doing something else, more people come behind me. And you know what she did? Yeah, she stopped, smiled. Excuse me a second. Welcome to Cold Stones. Hey, how many of you have ever walked up to a counter? How many of you have ever walked up to a front desk and the person's on the phone or on the computer and they don't even look up at you? Yeah. They don't even acknowledge that you walked in. You ever seen it? Gee. Now here are these two girls. And by the way, you guys, doctors, let me just throw this in. Who owns this store? I don't know. They weren't there. Who's the manager? I don't know. It's just these two girls. They're just there, and they're working their heads off. Now, they're welcoming the people. They're taking the orders. They're mixing the food. They're the cooks. They're doing all that. They're answering the phone. They're the front desk. They're also the rehab. They're doing all the therapies. They're fixing all that. And no. They're the financiers, too. You know what? They collected the money, too. When they finish making your stuff, they take you over the cash register. Then they take your credit card. Then they take the payments. And I'm telling you, I'm watching them do all this stuff. They're doing everything. It's these two girls. I'm watching them do everything, and and I can't have. So one of the girls, when she finishes my thing, I said, wow. I said, there's a lot of people. I said, how long does the line have to get before you'd maybe add another person? She looked at me seriously. She looked at me. She said, I don't know. I never thought about it. We've never had any here, but two's is the most we've ever had. Well, I handed her my money. She gave it back, and I took it, and they had a tip jar there. I took $1 or whatever it was. I took whatever money was left over, and I put it in the tip jar. You know what they did then? They sang. They sing too. They sing. I'm telling you, they take the orders, they answer the phone, they welcome the people, they collect the money, they sing too. And they have their own special song. Oh, thank you for your money, whatever they sing. It's like, wow, does this ever end or what? Now picture how different it would be if this were us, you guys. We'd have a person to welcome the people at the door. We'd have a person to take the orders. We'd have a person to mix the ice cream. We'd have a person on the cashier. And we'd have a person answering the phone. And with those 5 people we'd still be complaining, saying, well, we need one more, because I'm telling you, there's more coming. We need another one. I'm tired. I took 3 credit cards just this hour. And then we'd need a doctor in there to supervise them and make sure they do it. Am I right or wrong? So let me kind of try to tell you something. There's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good. That was in Cold Stones. Now let me just give you a couple little eye openers. One is, those girls make less than anybody in here. Now where am I going with this? I'll tell you where I'm going. Stop whining, shut up, and thank God you're blessed. You got a great job. You got a great place. You got a great opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. You can make a difference in their health. You can make a difference in the community. You can change lives. What an awesome thing, man. We ought to be just tickled punch to be here today. I see something. Well, I come here on a Saturday. Oh yeah, you don't like it? Go to Cold Stones, bucko. Start dipping some stinking ice cream. All in favor, say aye. Well, you can't get new patients in our area. No. Can't get new patients in our area. No, they just aren't there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, your area is so different. I mean, other areas have people in them. Yeah, your area, no. Your area is nothing like, anybody else's area. No, they're totally different. Wowee. Sherry will be in your classes on practice representatives there this afternoon. She'll be kind of going over one of these, but this was just an email that came in just before we started. A new practice representative. Now, she's so new, rats, she just didn't know any better. That's the ones that's why we love getting even the newest. When they don't know any better, and then they just do they actually do what we just have them do there, and they just do it like we said do it. Really fouls things up. We need somebody to change it and moderate it. Just took into read this one. This is what she did. Our practice representative just scheduled 132 new patients in 5 days. Now, some of you are weird here. You're either thinking, is that all in 5 days? Or, let me just tell you, can it be done? In your area, dominate 80%. We want to go from 8% to 80%. We want to be number 1 in healthcare. Understand? I don't want to be in healthcare. I want to be number 1 in healthcare. I want to be at the top. You know why? Because we deserve it. We have the best healthcare available. We must choose it. So the truth is, if you're going to be a chiropractor, you might as well be the chiropractor. That's good. That's right. You might as well be. If you're going to be in practice, man, you might as well be in practice, don't you think? You might as well be this number one. If you just got into this thing just to make a nice living, how disgusting is that? If you, well, I want to have a nice job. No. You got to make history. You got to make reform. You see, I understand this. I'm studying it. I'm watching it. I'm absolutely confident that if we're going to have health care reform in this country, there's only one group can do it. We are the health care reform of this country. Okay, maybe you're a goofy one. You're thinking that the government can do it? How stupid is that? You think the government is doing it? Do you guys remember, for instance, do you remember HIPAA? Yep. 1996, HIPAA. We're going to one system. One health care, one record system. We're going to one record system. 1996. So they had two. So they said, well, if we're going to go to one record system, we got to worry about the patient's privacy. So then they said, well, here's some things you got to do. They made sure you did all the stuff. And then how close are we to that one record system? 1996. That's 14 years ago. How close are we? We're not any closer than the day they passed it. You think the government can reform health care? Make them all Republicans, make them all Democrats. They can't do it. You think the insurance companies can reform health care? That's what I think. That's what I think. Oh, let me give you another one. Do you think drug companies can reform health care? There's only one group, bucko. You're it. You better stand up. You better get going. You better stop messing around. You better get yourself in drive, bucko. Because you have no excuse to be in park. The reason that you're in park, if you're in park, it's because you don't think you can go anywhere. And that's why it's the greatest time in the world to be in practice. This is the greatest day in the world to be in practice. You know why? Most people are in park. Most people are asleep. Well, Keith, we've got 72 chiropractors in 3 blocks. Could be. 71 of them, though, I promise you, are in park. Because you wake up in park. Very few people choose drive. It's the 2%ers that choose drive. So jerk your halo off your head. Don't be in park. Well, what about the How to Stay Young class? There's always excuses. Well, we don't do it. How come we don't do it? Well, nobody comes. Well, I wonder why. When you talk to them, you hope they wouldn't come anyway. Well, we have a class at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and I realize that's a busy time, and I know that you should probably be with your family eating and all that. And I know I'm hoping that I could be, and if you don't come, then it allows me to go home. It happens in other states, right? Hey, interestingly enough, we had one doctor, he was telling me just the other day, we had one doctor who only one was scheduled for the class. So he was excited. He called his wife and he said, hey, honey, I'm coming home. There's only one scheduled. There's no reason to do it for one. She said, you're not coming home. You get in there and do that class for the one. So naturally, being the head of the home, he said, okay. That's why we stay married. He stayed. You know what happened? He did it for the one and he scheduled 6 new patients. That's a good thing. Most people are in park, some people are in drive. You realize that when you decide that nothing works, you will be right. You do realize that, don't you? And when you decide you can't get new patients, you will be right. You do realize that, don't you? And when you decide that the staff can't do it, you'll be right. All these are choices that you make. So be careful the choice that you make, because you'll be right. So you need to choose drive. Well, there's another gear, reverse. How do you know if you're in reverse? Well, take a look at yourself. Take a look. If you look back over last year and this year, are you more driven this year than you were last year? If you're more, you're not in reverse. But if you say, I'm more burned out. Whatever you might say, whatever you are, if you aren't as driven as you were last year, you're in reverse. Take a look at where you were 5 years ago. Are you more driven now than you were 5 years ago? If the answer is no, then you're in reverse. Your statistics, by the way, will also reveal whether you're in reverse or not. It'll tell you what gear you're in. Your statistics won't lie. Now ask yourself this question. If you are in reverse, and you don't have to raise your hand or anything, but if you are, ask yourself this question. If I stay in reverse, where am I going to be 5 years from now? Isn't that a good question? If I stay in this gear, where am I going to be 5 years from now? Understand that your choice, I want you to get this. This is why I'm confronting you with choices, because your choice is going to determine your destination. You realize that, don't you? You're determining your destination. Fate isn't. Luck isn't. Let me go. The president isn't. Let me understand. It is your choices that determine your destination. It is not other people. I'm telling you something. If you go backward, you can't blame Bush. And you can't blame Obama. You know what I've found about people and presidents? When things aren't going good for them, they're quick to blame the president. And when things go good, they're quick to give themselves the credit. Hang it all. It's you. You're making the choices. You make the decision. All in favor say aye. Aye. You just need to make the right one is all. Here's another gear, is neutral. Wowee, neutral is one that a lot of people work in and live in. They just work in neutral. Rats, they're not in park, but they're just in neutral. If they do something, it's just because you pushed them. And by the way, in neutral, it's easy to go downhill, really tough to go uphill. And to try to go up in neutral is very tough. Takes some hard pushing. But it goes downhill real easy. A lot of people in neutral, you can see them. We got a lot of people in this country in neutral because they just want the government to hand them everything. They're just entitled to everything. I'm just amazed at what we're all entitled to these days, aren't you? I mean, honestly, I don't think I have ever listened to as many whiners and bawlers and squallers and gripers and complainers. We get our feelings hurt about everything. I mean, everything. We just continue. Everybody's so quick to get their feelings hurt. It's like, are you guys adults or what? What is wrong with you? I mean, see, we think that poor is not having unlimited texting. It's like, oh, well, yeah. We're a family of 5 and only 4 of them have cell phones. Wow, hey, that is rough. Well, it reminds me of a third world country. And we think cell phones are all right, and we only have 200 stations. And our internet, it's only in 3 rooms. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Baby. Those things aren't a right, they're a privilege that you pursue, thank you very much. I'll tell you something else too. You must realize that if we really get this down to it, most of us have a disease, all right? It's laziness. We gripe and we bawl and we squall and we have nothing to gripe about. We should be the most thankful people on the planet, because we are the most blessed people on the planet. We are a blessed nation, and we are a blessed people that ought to be thankful for what we have and get a heart of gratitude and change our thoughts and our minds. We should be thankful very much for all of our opportunities, because we do have the opportunity to grow this practice. And we do have an opportunity to succeed, and we do have the opportunity to dominate. We do have an opportunity to do this. This burned out stuff and all this, I'm not getting it. And all these people feeling sorry for themselves, I just can't believe it. Man, we look for reason, feeling sorry for themselves. Those people, they're going to make them show their ID in Arizona. They're going to have to show their ID. Have you never flown in a plane? You guys ever go to the airport? Let me tell you something. You got to do more than show your ID. Boy, just this last, you're taking off your belt, you take off your shoes, you take off your coat. You got to, if you have liquid, you got to put the liquid in a clear plastic bag. I don't know what does that plastic bag do to that liquid anyway? And it's only 3 ounces, something over 3 ounces. I don't know, it explodes or something happens. And then he goes, I guess the plastic bag purifies it or does something with it. And then you put it on that thing, and you got to take your cell phone, and it goes through there and all this. And then when you walk through, still, I had to hold it, just this last time, just this week, got my hands over my hand, I go, take everything out of your pocket, you hand them this, you go that, you put it in there, you got to dress, you got to undress, and then a guy searches you. I don't like it. And how often does this happen? Every time you want to just get on a plane so that we can be safe. I'm okay with it. It's America. If I don't like it, I can go somewhere else. There's a plane. And I'll tell you, it doesn't stop. I mean, you just have to realize, and you just have to understand, everybody, that instead of our attitudes the way they are, we're adults. We're grown people. You aren't owed anything. You just have an opportunity to do something and to be something. And the truth of the matter is, I'm thankful for what I have. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't feel sorry for you. Let me just help you something. Do you have a cushy job or what? 2-hour lunch? Who gets a 2-hour lunch? I don't get that. You guys get a 2-hour lunch? I don't get it. Don't ever tell anybody who works for us that you get a 2-hour lunch. Because nobody in integrity gets a 2-hour lunch. I don't even want them to leave. Why didn't you just bring a sandwich? What's the problem? Keep going. You ever had a 2-hour lunch, friend? No. Have you ever thought about having a 2-hour lunch?
No.
Don't think about getting off on weekends either.
No.
That's right. We don't get off on weekends. You guys are off weekends? Thursday. Closed on Thursday, Tuesday afternoons? My word, man. Whew, thank God. What a job. We don't have a job like that. They're not getting a job like that. It isn't going to happen. Because I want them to work. You guys know what I'm talking about? And then you know why I still hear from doctors? Just understand that, I'll have doctors say, oh, Keith, I'm burned out. You're burned out. You're a pansy is what you are. What do you mean you're burned out? You're burned out? What a wimp. Let me tell you something. I live in Florida. Now, there are a few people that, a roofer in Florida in August has a right to say he's burned out. You're in air conditioning. You're okay. You're just fine, thanks. Yeah, you have to work some, but let me tell you something. When you have a dream, it didn't work. See, when you're on a mission to change the health of your community, when you're on a mission to reform health care, it didn't work. It didn't work. It's a privilege. Well, I came here to make your dream happen. It means I don't mind getting searched by a guy. I don't mind showing my driver's license twice. I don't mind taking off my shoes and my belt and my coat. You see? Because, hey, I got a dream to make happen here. Do you guys follow what I'm saying? Get it in gear, bucko. Drive. Are you driven? So, are you driven? Yes. Well, let me tell you, the driven can at least raise their hand. Are you driven? Yes. Or if you're driven people raise both hands. Are you driven? Yes. As a matter of fact, if you're driven people stand up because they just can't even stand it. They don't want to be sitting there. Driven people stand up. Are you driven? Yes. Oh, that's better. As a matter of fact, driven people, they even do the thing. They go, I'm driven. Can you do it? Do it. I'm driven. See, some of you are moving more than you have in months. It's an amazing thing. All right, you can be seated. If you're going to dominate, you guys, understand this. If you're going to dominate, are you going to dominate? Are you going to change South American tribes person? Yes. Is your practice going to change? You're going to pick up and go and grow, man. You're going to dominate. You're going to be number one. You are going to change the health of your community. Now, if you're going to do it, it's going to take some emotion. It's going to take some drive, bucko. It's going to take some passion. Have you got it or you don't? Yes. That's good. I like this person. Truth of the matter is, isn't it funny? Passion stands out because very few people have it. Hey, I'll give you an example. Joel Osteen, for instance. You ever heard of Joel Osteen? Has the largest church in the country. You know what they call him? You know what he's been labeled as? He's been labeled as the smiling preacher. Isn't that weird? Labeled as the smiling preacher. Wow, we talk about an insult. He stands out above everybody because he smiles. Obviously, all other Christians look like they're going to hell. He at least smiles, and everybody runs to it. Going to take some passion, bucko. Passion. So that is why, I don't know, I've done this. I know it's going to seem goofy to you. It seemed goofy to everybody in the company when I said, here's what we're doing. I bought a cowbell for everybody. Every one of you have a cowbell. This is my present to you. This is your cowbell. Now, why did I do this? Why did I said, I don't want one cowbell per clinic. I want everybody to have a cowbell. So, rats, we got over 400 cowbells in here. Now, by the way, if anybody didn't get a cowbell? Hey, bring the cowbells here. We got people without cowbells. They got to have a cowbell. Get the cowbells in here. We got to have cowbells. No question about it. We need cowbells. Matter of fact, I'll borrow your bell from it. You haven't opened your bell. I'll open it for you. You were saving it for good. That's what my wife says. Okay. Okay, everybody. Now, have you got your bell? How we doing? Oh, that's sounding pretty good. Here's what we're going to do. If you're going to have cowbells, we gotta learn the cowbell etiquette. So let me teach you what the cowbell. This is the cowbell etiquette. Is this? You're going to bring it to the office. Still got a few raised hands over here. You're going to bring. Everybody's going to have their cowbell at the office, and you're going to ring the bell every time something good happens. You're not telling what it is, but you just have to ring the bell. So in other words, let's just say, as an example, let's say, for instance, that the phone rings and you answer it, and it's a new patient, and you scheduled a new patient. What do? Hey. Oh, somebody calls to cancel an appointment. They were going to cancel. They couldn't come in, and you said, no, we got to get you in here, and you even scheduled them earlier. Oh, no, wait. And then you had somebody come in, and you gave them a report of findings, and they scheduled to come to the How to Stay Young class. That's pretty good. Oh, that's good. Oh, your practice representative. She just scheduled a lunch and learn at a business. Oh, they told us we couldn't get in Walmart, and they just scheduled a screening. Pretty good. Oh, you're having staff meeting. Well, normally staff meetings are boring, but in this staff meeting, you give a report, and you just have more new patients than you've ever had before. What do you think? Now, see, you guys. Here, you don't have to be married to this, but let's try it for just a week. What do you think? Just a week. Now, here's what's going to happen. Your day's going to be filled with bells. And by the way, you're saying, what kind of record of success does this have? It doesn't have any record. I've never heard of it before. I just made it up. I'm thinking it's a neat thing, because your day's going to be filled with bell ringing. And every time you hear that bell, you won't know exactly what happened at that time, but you know something good just happened. Because if you've ever watched It's a Wonderful Life, every time a bell rings, that's right. So we need to ring the bell. Now, what you want to do is you're going to have patients. Patients are going to say, "Why'd that bell ring?" All you got to do is say, "Hey, I'll tell you what." We said that means something good. Somebody's health just got better. Good news, we just made somebody healthy. We want to celebrate good health. It's a good thing. Now you think about it. You know what they're going to say? Hey, that sounds neat. People like good news. People like smiling preachers. People like bells ringing. You'll be surprised. People like positive people. People like driven people. People like to be around driven people, even if they're not driven. Sometimes I look and say, well, someday I'm going to be driven. And someday they will. All in favor, say aye. Who chooses drive anyway? No question about it. The person who chooses drive is the dreamer. That's who chooses it. Nobody chooses drive if they don't have a dream. The only people who have dreams come true are people who have dreams. The first thing I have to encourage you remember, you know what made me do it in spite of my back being against the wall and risking my family and all that's involved? What caused me to do it was a dream. It wasn't to have a nice job or to have a nice income. It was to make history. It was to change lives. It was to make a difference. I want to make a difference. See, I believe that this morning I can make a difference in your future. I believe I can change your future. I believe I can change your destination. I believe I can take you to a place that you never thought possible if I just inspire you to make the right decision. I can do this. I'm going to do this. In fact, we're not taking a break until you choose to do this. Not very many bells on that one, I'm not sure. Here's the next one. The answer is choose inspiring. The question is, which personality do you choose? You say, wow, that's a strange decision to make for success. It's an absolutely essential one. It's the person that you are. And the person I see, I'm sick to death of people thinking that they're just a certain type. And they're not the type to be this or that and the other thing. Let me tell you something. A personality is something that you choose, and I'm telling you to choose inspiring. What are some of the other choices, by the way? Let's just talk about some of the... One of the choices is a jerk. Let me ask you all, how many of you have ever, and I'll let you have your bell back, how many of you have ever met a jerk? Do we have any? You met a jerk? A jerk, they're a jerk. How many of you walked away saying, boy, he's a jerk? How many of you work with a jerk? Oh, wait. If they're not here, how many of you are married to a jerk? Oh, that's not a good one either. Truth of the matter is, we all know jerks, don't we? And what makes them a jerk? Rats, man. They don't smile, they don't laugh, they don't have fun, they're rude, they argue all the time. If you say something's white, they say something's black. It doesn't matter, whatever they go, they're just jerks, aren't they? They're just jerks. I mean, they always say something, and they throw cold water on everything. Every time you want to do something, they say, no, we're not going to do that. They're just absolute jerks. Let me tell you something. I've studied jerks. I know jerks, I've studied jerks, and here's what I found out in my study of jerks. What I found out in my study of jerks is they aren't 24-hour jerks. They're nice to some people. You know what I found out about jerks? There were times when they were really good people. They weren't jerks all the time. They were just jerks when they chose to be. You know what I found out? I found out that when you're a jerk, and by the way, have you ever chosen to be a jerk before? Sure, yeah, we're jerks. Jerks. Easy, naturally jerks. And so there's only one way you get out of jerkism, and that's to choose inspiring. So what do, man? You understand that. Don't try to kid me. Jerk is a choice. If you're a jerk, and by the way, there's kind of plenty of examples of this. I'll give you some examples. You ought to go on as many websites as we do and see as many yellow page ads as we do. You should see the pictures of a lot of doctors. You should see the pictures of doctors. Have you ever seen what these people do? You know, they'll go, you know, like smart and mean go hand in hand. And if they smiled, then they wouldn't appear intelligent. Well, I think they look stupid when they're not smiling. Truth of the matter is, you're choosing to look like a jerk. And by the way, the only reason a person goes on your website is not to read 1,400 pages about chiropractic. How goofy is that? They're going on there to see if you look like you're nice, and to see if your place is easy to find and close to them. That's what they want to know. You think they're going to swim through your spine? They're not. Lots of doctors think that it's okay to be a jerk. Lots of doctors think that. They think it's okay to be a jerk. As a matter of fact, there's a program on TV. You ever seen House? House is a program about a medical doctor who prides himself in being a jerk. And everybody, and of course, he's a jerk, but he's really good. Yeah, it's okay that he's a jerk because he's really good at diagnosis. Now, let me help you with something, you guys. It's a show. It's a script. It isn't real. I'm not putting up with a jerk. We want nice people win, and you need to pay attention to your patients, and you want to have more referrals? Then listen to patients who refer. Listen to patients and what it is that gets their attention and why it is that they refer. And you understand what really makes you good. You understand what really makes you great. Nobody wants, likes, or goes to a jerk. You listen, you get really fouled up. Oh, I'll just give you some examples. For instance, so if you could listen to a patient, what do they say? You need to go see Dr. Smith. She has a great high-low. And not only that, when you go, here's what you're going to find. She's got digital X-ray. That's right. And you can rest assured now, because I read this in the magazine, it's true, they have electronic health records. I'm going back there. Yeah, they care. Now let me tell you, since you all think that stuff, let me tell you what they really say. You need to go see Dr. Smith. I really like him. That's right. They say, I really like her. Huh. Didn't have anything to do with, oh, what technique? They don't, let me help you. This is just even one little phrase. I know you're not going to like it, but the reason you're here is I got to be honest with you, and business is business. Let me tell you something. They don't know your technique, and technique won't grow practice. Oh, well, I can't do that. I'm going to this technique seminar. Yeah, I'm taking it all year. Okay, fine. Go ahead, kill yourself. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, and if you don't believe me, I'll do a survey around your neighborhood. We'll go around and I'll ask them to tell me the different techniques there are. And I'll ask them to tell me what those techniques mean. And I'll ask them to tell me which technique they prefer. And don't get your feelings hurt, but they're not going to be able to help me here. They're not going to be able to tell me. You guys are a legend in your own mind, your techniques. Whereas I want you to feel comfortable with it. I want you to get the body well, but they don't know, I'm telling you. They do not know. And you do not grow because of a technique. Another thing I want to give you real quick. You don't grow because of a piece of equipment. Buy this piece of equipment and I'm telling you, your practice will just blow up. I mean, people just going to... They're lying. Nobody in your neighborhood knows your piece of equipment. Oh, no, they won't see my associate because he doesn't do this technique. Oh, yeah, it's all over the neighborhood. People are buzzing about it everywhere. I mean, it's the talk of the town. Did you know there's 2 doctors in that office and they have 2 different techniques? Oh, gag, I'm not going there. You guys live in a dream world. You're making it up. Let me tell you the truth. Will a patient leave because they don't like a staff person? Yep. They absolutely will. Will a patient leave because they don't like a doctor? Yep. They absolutely will. Personality matters, you guys. Yep. Success goes to the inspiring. Success goes to the inspiring. You can like it, you can not like it. It doesn't matter. Well, you can also choose not only just to be a jerk, you can choose to be a bore. How many of you are parents? Parents? Have you ever had your kids say, Dad, I'm bored? Well, I'll tell you the response they get from me, man. When my boy said that, I said, Dad, I'm bored. I said, well, let me tell you why you're bored. It's because you're boring. You're boring, man. What do you think? The world's here to entertain you? If you're not entertained, start entertaining yourself. We have the opportunity to pursue happiness. It isn't given to us. It isn't a right. You're bored, it's because you're boring. Most people are boring, you guys. They wake up boring, they talk boring, they act boring, they think boring. They're boring. They're just boring people. They're not mad, they're not sad, they're not happy, they're not glad, they're just flatlined. They wouldn't hurt a fly and they wouldn't help one either. They're so heavenly, they're no earthly good. They don't do squat. You're boring when everybody else might be standing up doing a jig and you're just going to sit there. You're boring. I'm not moving. Everybody could be on the floor laughing. Everybody could be on the floor laughing. You're going to smile. You say, yeah, Keith, that's just the way I am. Yes, South American tribes person. And it's a choice. And you can change. Or die there with your boring vitamin insect. Does it matter, everybody? Don't tell me it's a personality type. I've seen you at a ball game. You know how to yell. You know how to have emotion. You know what it's like to be a fan. You're just choosing not to be one a bunch of the time. You're choosing to be boring. Boring is a choice. And let me just tell you something else. Staff, you need to get this. Doctor, you need to get this. Do you know why most patients quit? They just get bored. The truth of the matter is, you'd say they quit because they can't afford it. No. They will go somewhere else and spend a bunch more bucks with somebody else than you. You say they can't go afford it? Then walk out there with them to their Escalade, would you please? The truth of the matter is, it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with inspiration. Staff, let me tell you what your job is. When that patient walks in, your job is to inspire them to health. Because they're going to lose inspiration. They'll have it for those first couple visits because they just spent a couple hours with you. Then they come a few times and it's only 5 minutes and they're starting to lose their inspiration. When they walk in and the door opens, stop what you're doing, stand up, smile. Welcome to Cold Stones! Oh, wait, not Cold Stones. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Pay attention, inspire, choose inspiring. Decide that every day you can inspire people. You know, I have to admit that have you ever had Seedless Watermelon? Have you ever eaten it? I have to admit I really like it because I can't stand all those seeds. But the truth is, there is some dangers to Seedless Watermelon, and that is the fact that once it's eaten, it's gone. It's extinct. Can't come back. There's nothing to plant. The truth of the matter is, you don't want to live a seedless life. A seedless life is one that, it was a nice living. You did nice things, but you didn't plant anything. You didn't change anybody. Are you reproducing chiropractic? Are you reproducing success? Inheritance isn't always something that you leave somebody. It's something that you leave in somebody. The truth of the matter is, you can make an inspiring difference where you are. It's a choice of being inspiring. I want to give you a quick example of one that I read about. I have a book about him. His name is Marty. Not too far from here in South Dakota. His name is Marty. He works the cashier register at a Walmart in a small town. And he decided he could be inspiring. He chose to be inspiring. And he decided that he would inspire every customer that comes to his cash register. So when they came, he would stop and smile at them. And he would tell them how glad he was that they came here to this store. And he would do this while he's checking them out. And when he finished checking it out and he got paid, you know what he would do? He'd step around his counter and come out to where they are and shake their hand and tell them how glad they were that they came in. That's it. He shook their hand. Shook their hand. Interestingly enough, this started to get attention. As a matter of fact, it got to be to the point where there would get to be a long line in front of Marty's cash register. And there would be no line at the other cash registers. And you know how they do. They would come out from the deal and they would stand out in the deal and say, I can help somebody over here. And nobody would leave Marty's line. They say, no, I want to be in Marty's line. I want Marty to shake me. I want to shake his hand. Isn't it amazing? Inspiring is a choice of wherever you are. Now let me just tell you, one of the reasons I'm telling you this, how do I know it? Because a guy who just decided to shake a person's hand and be inspiring, they wrote a book about him. I just read the book. Cash register, Walmart, the town in South Dakota. Who'd have thought it? Can you change people? Can you inspire people? Where you are, in your town, with your opportunity, with what you do? Absolutely, man. You can change lives. But understand this, and this is what I want you to get. It's a choice. The people who succeed and win choose inspiring. They choose drive and they choose inspiration. They choose to be inspiring rather than waiting to see if somebody inspires them. I wanted my boys to know, no, my job isn't to inspire you. Your job is to be inspired. It's a choice. Everybody get it? All in favor say aye. Aye. It's an important decision. Do you have a plan to be inspiring? Remember, you are the light of the world. That means when you walk in a room, you light it up. That means when you walk into a meal and you're at a table with somebody, you light up the table. And you are the salt of the earth, which means you are the spice of the earth, which means that you spice up any conversation. It means you spice up your family. It means you light them up. People can hardly wait to see you because you are light instead of darkness. It's a choice. I want you to understand how important it is to make the right choice. Now, to give you an example here, doctor, we need to reproduce success in chiropractic. The truth of the matter is, and this is, I got to be totally honest with you here, but I'm telling you, what is true in this room is not true as a profession. It's just true in this room. And just because we have a lot of success in this room, we've got to make sure that we don't keep it to this room and lead a seedless company. It's important that we reproduce this over and over and over again. I'll give you an example. I sat down with a doctor last Saturday who was a guest here who has been in practice for 34 years. He has had a good practice. This is a good man, a good doctor with a good practice that in these last few years is not doing good. Now follow me here for just a minute. Do you know, for instance, how many new patients he's had for the year? 4. Now I'm telling you, this man was broken and he said, I can't tell you how hard it is to tell you this. Because we understand big hat, no cattle, don't we? Everybody thinks everybody's fine. Everybody thinks that they're doing well. And he would never want anybody to know. And there's no way you would ever know, or obviously I wouldn't be talking about this. There's no way in the world you'd ever know. But let me tell you this. I'm telling you about a broken man who doesn't tell anybody, who everybody thinks is fine, but he's just about to not make it. Now, what are we going to do, you guys? This is a good man and a good doctor. We need to help him. He's not going to come and ask for help. We got to reach out and do it anyway. Now, I want you to understand that you are disgusting in the sight of God if there are colleagues around you that are drowning and you're not helping them. We have a program called Loan a Coach that you can call them and you can help them and you can give them a month of encouragement, help, where you can loan them an integrity coach where they can get some help for a while, at least to get up. It's a donation on our part, it's a donation on your part. But here's the thing. We want to make a difference. We got to help somebody. You got to plant seeds. Does that make sense to you? You just can't live your own life and just care about you. How many doctors do we want to succeed? All of them. If we're going to get 80% of the population under chiropractic care, we need a lot of doctors doing this, don't we? Our problem is that there aren't 10,000 people in this room. That's the problem. Because we need everybody committed to, instead of being committed to making sure that nobody else moves in, that no other doctors come in, and then we open about 200 clinics a year, you guys. We open about 200 practices a year. And I know what happens when a doctor opens a clinic. You know what they do? They get letters and they get phone calls, and letters will say, you better not do anything, or we'll report you, we'll turn you in, we'll make sure you lose your license. You better not market, you better not advertise, you better not get out there, you better not do anything. You know why? Because they don't want them to win, because they figure if they win that they will lose. We would eat our young. The truth is, it's not right, everybody, and it's not integrity. We need everybody to win. We need everybody to succeed. We need to help everybody. Let me give you some examples. Dr. Tony may be here. Dr. Tony, you may be here with this, but here we got this email from him. I want everyone to know how great integrity doctors are. I just opened my practice in June. Dr. Donovan let me take one of his CAs for a week to train and set up the integrity system in my office. Only an integrity doctor would do this. Now, is that awesome, everybody, or what? See, we not only want them to win, but we even send our own people there to help them do it. That's pretty amazing. You got to love it. That's what I call integrity. This is inspiring. Dr. Stuart Hove and Dr. David Bloom, interesting thing, man. They went and worked and they made a good connection. And they practice in Iowa, by the way, and there was a farm implement dealership in their town. And they said, hey, we want you to do the How to Stay Young class to all of our employees. So you know what they did? They set it up where they would go out there to do the How to Stay Young class for all their employees at that farm implement dealership. But here's the thing. They have 8 dealerships throughout the entire state. So you know what Stewart said? He said, I'll tell you what. He says, we'll do it for all 8 dealerships all over the state. If you'd like for us to. They wanted him to. We want you to do this to all 8 dealerships. So you know what Stuart and David did? They drove all over the state to all 8 locations and did the How to Stay Young class in all 8 cities and towns. And what they did was when they went to that town, they called up another chiropractor and they said, we're going to do this class and we're going to get new patients. And if you'll come and be there with us, we'll give you the new patients. So what they did was they went and they did the How to Stay Young class. They signed up new patients, and they gave the new patients to that chiropractor in town that they called if they'd come. Is that awesome or what, everybody? That's right. So, choose inspiring. Doctor, how many of you can think of 2 or 3 doctors that you know that you could call and offer that to? How many of you can think of somebody? How many of you are going to do it? Get her done. Plant some seeds. Choose to be inspiring. Be a Marty. Third answer, choose chiropractic. That sounds like a strange one. Here's the question. What profession are you in anyway? Choose chiropractic. That's an important one. Do you know what profession you're in? Chiropractic. Choose it. Be proud of it. Be it. Don't cover it up. Don't hide from it. Don't try to be somebody else. You are a chiropractor, and you are proud. And the truth is, let's just take it. Yes. Let me give you some examples, you guys. I'm going to give you some stuff here. I want you to get this. I'll go up. We're getting really off purpose, you guys. Let me tell you what our purpose is. Our purpose is to heal this country with natural health care. We want to get them off drugs. We want to allow the body to heal itself naturally. We believe that we can do it with our hands. Chiropractic means with hands. The truth of the matter is, we know we can do this, and we know that the country wants it, don't they? We can do this, and we need to choose chiropractic. But for some reason, we're choosing everything else but that. And we've gotten way off purpose. Now look, I like other things, and I'm for other stuff, but I know that there's only one thing that's key, and the key thing is the adjustment. The adjustment is what makes things happen. The adjustment is what heals. And everything else is just a supplement too. But we're getting off purpose, and we're thinking that people aren't attracted to chiropractic. I've had some say, well, I'm nervous that we're going to lose the term subluxation. Let me tell you, I'm nervous that we're going to lose the term chiropractic. I've been going on college campuses. I've been talking to the president. I'm saying, explain to me why you're removing the name chiropractic from the name of your school. What is that? Let me ask you this. How many medical schools are removing the word medical from their schools? How come they're not removing it and we are? They're prouder than we are. I don't like it. The only reason we're here is because of chiropractic. I want you to understand that. And we're wrong by selling it out. I've got a chiropractic economics here. It's the one that had just come out just when we started this round. And I'm just going to go page by page, everybody. It's just a magazine, page by page. First two pages. Be confident your nutritional protocols are this complete. Nutrients within foods work synergistically to support the complexity of the body. Standard process. Nutrition. That's the first 2 pages. Turn the page. Lasers. Laser healthcare. Laser healthcare. Nutrients and laser healthcare. Turn the page. Up. True advice, trust in nutritional health. Douglas Laboratories weren't nutrition. So. Now, by the way, am I against nutrition? No. Do I take supplements? Yes. But turn the page. Here's no. All I did was just turn the page. Turn the page. BioFreeze. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Here's a BioFreeze commercial. It's a full-page ad. We'd like to be your partner in improving the quality of life through pain management and help you spread the word about the wonders of, should be chiropractic, shouldn't it? About the wonders of chiropractic. No, it's of BioFreeze. Oh yeah, that's why we got $200,000 in student loans. Since we do not advocate the sale of BioFreeze in retail stores, except I saw it in my barbershop, but no, go ahead. Our success depends on your practice sales. So we've developed merchandising and marketing tools to provide you with the support needed to build their practice. That's right. BioFreeze, not chiropractic. Read it, bucko. Turn the page. This is just from one page to the next. I'm just every page. Oh, the next page. This kills me. The ACA. Every year we've always had National Chiropractic Awareness Month. In October, Chiropractic Awareness Month. Because the country isn't aware of chiropractic like they should be. They don't know how to say it. They don't know how to spell it. They don't know how it works. The ACA says, no, we're changing it. Now it's going to be chiropractic weight awareness. No, not chiropractic, I'm sorry. It's going to be weight awareness, not chiropractic awareness. Weight. Now it's called Weight Away. Yeah, that's really good news because, if you look at the New York Times bestseller list, you'll see that there's like 100 books on chiropractic and there's like only maybe one on weight loss. And listen to their reasoning. More than 60% of adults in the United States are either overweight or obese, according to the CDC studies, and they need to know they can come see us. 60%? Wow, that's a lot. Let me ask you all a question, just since I'm just a business person here. Let me ask you a question. How many people have spines? What's the percent, everybody? I'm thinking 60%, 65. Stupid. We need people to be aware of chiropractic. See, I'm not worried about losing the word subluxation near as much as I'm worried about losing the word chiropractic. We're now weight loss clinics, and nutrition clinics, and food clinics, and laser shooting clinics. Turn the page. Oh, yeah. Turn the page. Here's more. Turn the page. As a matter of fact, there's 4 or 5 different pages on this. 4 or 5 on for instance, sandals. Now you're selling sandals. Oh, custom sandals, adjustable straps. Okay. We're putting pads and shoes and sandals on people. Now, once again, you guys, am I against sandals? Rats, I live in Florida. Of course not. But I want you to be aware of something. Let's just say this real quick. Understand this. What is your purpose? Why did you go to chiropractic school anyway? DC stands for Doctor of. Now let me just ask you a question. Can anybody sell vitamins? Can anybody sell sandals? Can anybody sell pads and shoes? Now, by the way, let me just tell you something. You say, you're against it. I'm hacked off. No, I am not against it. That would be silly. I am not against it. There is no way that I would be. Because I have sandals and I take supplements. But you're selling out. And the reason that they say, and there's measurement companies going to nothing but weight loss, saying that that's the way you get new patients, is that they will rush in for that. Let me tell you something. I can get vitamins from anybody. My wife went to buy some New Balance shoes. Tennis shoes. You know what they did? First thing they did? They took her to a Bigfoot scan. It's a nicer one than yours. With a bigger screen TV than yours, and really neater color. There's lots of reds and yellows and stuff. And she can get her custom orthotics there. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Just be aware, as a business owner, I'm trying to make you aware. If you turn to everything that everybody else can do without any education whatsoever, you're making yourself extinct. Just pay attention. I'm going to help you with something. You can't compete with Walmart. Get it. And now let's talk about what is important, everybody. I remember, Bob, I'm so glad to have you here, and I want to talk to you after this deal's over too. In the history of chiropractic, he's a tremendous, this guy knows it. In the history of chiropractic, our founder, Jenny Craig, so you knew this, Bob. I knew that you knew that already. When Jenny Craig founded chiropractic, her first patient came in, and he was deaf. And you know what she did? She gave him some vitamins, put some pads in his shoes, and boom! He got his hearing back. Is that what it was? What was it? It was the adjustment, bucko. Don't you ever forget it. And to get our priorities back, I'm going to help you with some here. I want you to understand that it was the adjustment that did it. And there's one thing I can't get at Walmart or at the New Balance tennis shoe place or at GNC. I can't get the adjustment. You see, you're the only one who knows how to get the body well naturally. You're the only one who can get the body well without the use of drugs. You are the only one. By the way, in the latest, did you see the latest one in chiropractic? I don't know if you saw this or not. There's another one. There's more. There's more. I'm not done. There's plenty in here, but there's more. It's absolutely amazing. And you know what the latest one? It just doesn't happen to be in this. Now, and it says at the top, even in red, it says at the top, it says, reduce back pain immediately. And immediately is in red. And then it says, increase your patient referrals. I should have brought it with me. You know what it's selling? Bras. I'm serious. Bras. Reduce back pain. Bras. Hey, 250 styles. I am not making this up. 250 styles, and look at this. No dangerous underwire. That's why you went to school, bucko. Glad you did that. That took $200,000 in 3 years. You're selling bras now. 250. Now keep in mind, it says in this is, and increase your patient referrals. Is that funny or what? Increase your patient referrals. Can you imagine? Now we know what the patients say. Oh, you need to go see Dr. Smith. Wow, he's got some amazing bras. He's got over 250 of them in there. Oh, yeah, and no dangerous underwire. You've got to go see him, because if you'll go get a bra from him, he'll even throw in a custom sandal. What are you doing? This is goofy. By the way, I'm not sure if insurance covers it or not, but I did look it up. There is an insurance code. I think it's 36C. But anyway. Which version? Oh, shut up. You got to joke around a little bit. Now, rats, the only thing is I'm not kidding very much. Here's another one. Just turn the page. All I did was turn the page. You've just found the way to become a part of this multi-billion-dollar a year industry. Earn $150,000 to $258,000 per year. Stay one step ahead of your competition with the Model 900. Now, I'm not sure what the first 899 models were, but Model 900 is facial and body sculpting. So now your purpose is facial and body sculpting too, because the only issue is ROI and income per year. Sell out. Take a look at all. Oh, by the way, in the ACA, what Bobby they just sent out this deal that, and take a look at why. Now, lazy boys chairs reduce back pain because you're reclining. Reclining is the solution. What was I thinking? If we lose weight and a lazy boy, back pain's gone. We get our hearing back too, I'll bet, Bob. Starting in 2011, integrity management is drawing a line in the sand for the year. We're going to save chiropractic. We're going to become the leader. And I'm not going to sell out. I know where the power is, so get ready and look out, bucko. Thank you, there's the bell. For instance, I don't care, let's say a church. I don't care if a church has a daycare center. I'm fine with it. But don't remove God. I'm thinking God should stay in the church. I'm for having orthotics. I'm for having vitamins. But hey, it's the 80-20 rule. Do you understand what I'm saying? 20% stuff, supplements. 80% what? The adjustment. We're going to save the term. Look out. No apologies. When I was about 14 years old, I've been speaking a long time, you guys. And when I was 14, I was doing a bunch of speaking stuff then. I was supposed to speak for this Valentine's banquet that night, and I was having bad sinus drainage and stuff, and so I couldn't talk. And I went and I told my mom, I said, "Boy, I can't talk. I'm supposed to speak tonight." She said, "Okay." She said, "Get in the car. We're going to the chiropractor." And I said, "We're going to the chiropractor." I'm 40. We're going to the chiropractor. It's my voice. I can't talk. She said, "You need an adjustment." Now she was really stupid. She didn't understand all the stuff that we know that But she said, "You need an adjustment." So our family chiropractor was Carl Parker. And so it was in Webster, Texas. So she took me to Dr. Parker's clinic, and he gave me an adjustment. You know what? That night, it stopped the drainage. That night, I had my voice back. That's right. And you know what? You guys hopefully will get better at the bell. I'm thinking Truth of the matter is, I'm thinking, this is great. You understand? Don't get away from it. Ryan went to one of our clients' open houses a few months ago. Okay, Ryan, let me ask you a question here about this. You and your wife, you and Jessica went to an open house, a chiropractic open house. And so what's the first thing that they had you do when you went in?
Hand scan.
You did a hand scan, a palm reader thing. You put it on there. And what did the palm reader tell you?
I needed 45 vitamins a day.
You needed 45 vitamins a day. How many did Jessica need? 63 vitamins a day. You need 66. So the two of you need 100 and some odd vitamins a day. Well, man, yeah, it's in here. It's an advertisement. It's in here. I got the advertisement. You can get it. It's silver, and you put it on. It's really medical. So you get the 100 some. I mean, do you guys realize 100 and some odd vitamins? By the time you finish, you're so waterlogged you can't move the rest of the day. What's the deal? Now, was that it? What happened next? Foot scan. You needed a foot scan. So then you got a foot scan, and so you needed orthotics. Then what happened? Nothing, that was it. You know what as they were showing you out the door, as they were desking, what did you say?
Can I have an adjustment?
He said, "Can I have an adjustment?" Had to ask for one of those. But don't worry, we got a foot lover's guy to make sure that you get your foot scanned. That's off purpose, you guys. Do you guys see what I'm doing? That's off purpose. People need what? An adjustment. Don't get off purpose. It's all in here. The truth of the matter is, if you go to a conference anymore, if you go to the state association or you go to FCA or wherever you want to go, you'd never know it's a chiropractic convention. We've gotten off purpose. We've got to get back purpose. So, I guess I got a question. Did I finish that? Make sure I do. I've got some questions for you. I want everybody to clear your throats. Get ready to speak here. I want to ask you a question. First of all, who has the best health care available, medical or chiropractic? What is better, natural health care or drug health care? By the way, let me throw this out at you just real quick, help you to understand. There is, like I just read, just this past week, I read this study that the Alabama State Association is making for all this stuff, wanting to be able to prescribe certain drugs and wanting to get into drug prescriptions and wanting to get into injections. I know you feel real neat with the injections, I know you, but you just need to wake up. And I'm telling you something. Let me just help you with this. Please listen. The injections isn't what makes you a doctor. Let me help you with something. Just a couple of things. First of all, my wife takes vitamin B12 shots. She gives them to herself. Let me help you out with something else. Anybody know anybody who's a diabetic? How do they get shots? They give them to themselves. And if you've been to a medical doctor in the last 30 years, you know that. Does the medical doctor give you a shot? No. Well, why do you think it makes you a doctor? Because you want to be able to give an injection. Aren't you hot stuff? You're nothing for that. Let me tell you why you're a doctor, and you get this. The reason why you're a doctor is because you get the body well. And the reason why you're an amazing doctor is because you get the body well naturally. Now do this. Do not give up the only thing that makes you unique. Don't sell it out. Dr. Kursko, we can't sell out here. It's just not right. It's right to have plenty of stuff, but we cannot leave the very thing that got us here. We can get everything else anywhere else, but we can't get that adjustment. All in favor say aye. Aye. Well, let me keep asking my questions. What health care is more affordable, medical or chiropractic? Chiropractic. Who provides a better report, medical or chiropractic? Chiropractic. Who provides a better exam, medical or chiropractic? Chiropractic. Pretty neat, huh? Who provides better on-time service, medical or chiropractic? Chiropractic. We win on every front except for one. Medical doctors are prouder. That's the only thing. Medical doctors are good at selling themselves, man. They've sold themselves as being heroes, miracle workers, geniuses. And you think I'm putting them down? No, I'm complimenting them. I wish that you'd pick it up. I wish you'd become as proud as they are. If you don't think that they're at the top of their profession, you just ask them. Think about it. Have you ever met a medical doctor that tried to cover up the fact that they were a medical doctor? I've seen full-page ads that were put on by a chiropractor and it didn't even mention the word chiropractic. They wouldn't do that. They're prouder than we are. Change, South American tribes person. Bring it back. I don't like it that they're prouder than we are. Our response isn't to put down medical doctors. That hasn't worked. And our response should be that we shouldn't try to be medical doctors. We're the envy of them, you guys, not us the envy of them. We are the leaders. We need to take our place in the parade. Realize how proud they are. And by the way, you think that they don't sell, you think that they don't worry about image. I know we have a dress code, and I know we care about these things, but you don't think that they care? You don't think that they sell image? How many of you ever seen the program? I'm not even sure the name of it, but I have the Doctors, or it's that afternoon thing. Is it called The Doctors, or Your Neighborhood Doctors, or something like that? And so they come on, and what are they wearing when they come on? Scrubs. Do you really think that he just walked out of an operating room and didn't have time to change? Come on, you guys, what's he doing? He's selling. You remember we used to have, and have they been selling themselves? We had hospital zones. You remember having to slow up because you were near a hospital? Quiet. You get in a hospital, we got to whisper. It was a sales job, everybody. Sales. Pay attention. We need to be proud of who we are and sell the socks off of it. Instead of trying to get together to find out how we can keep chiropractic a secret, Instead of thinking that we need everybody to turn to us for everything else, we need to make people aware of chiropractic. All in favor say aye. Aye. And we are leading. Dr. Nick may be here today too. Dr. Nick Mendez, he opened his practice just in September of 2009. And the reason why I wanted to point this out is that I'm telling you chiropractic works. These people are doing it with chiropractic. Integrity doctors are doing it with chiropractic. We can't have a worse economic situation we got right now. And yet, 10 months later, he's top flight status already. 10 months, you guys. Is that 9? 9. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's what I say. Ring the bell, you guys. What is it? What is it with you? I got a feeling that if you guys signed up 13 people at your How to Stay Young class, nobody'd ring a bell. Ring the bell. Dr. Jamie King, after being open only 3 weeks, we've welcomed 53 new patients into our practice. 3 weeks. Is that good, everybody? And how did Dr. King do it? Saving lives one adjustment at a time. We are winning. By the way, just so you get into it, so that you know, if you want your patients to have a product like BioFreeze is, I'm for it. Got no problem with it. What I would do, it's on the back of your program too. Product called Chiro.